I once had a patient who told me everything until the moment she passed, what was happening to her and her body, and the thing she told me has haunted me till this day, 5 years later. For the sake of the story, I'm naming this patient Marie. Marie was one of the nicest patients I've ever had. She had such a big heart. I remember being in her room for long periods of time, just talking to her and gaining all that wisdom. She was so generous with her knowledge. Marie was devoted to God, but she was also a scientist, and she wanted to let the whole world know what was happening to her as she was passing away. On one of her last days of living, she wanted to make sure that she received no narcotics, no anxiety medications, nothing that would alter her mind so she can let us know what was going on. On the last day before she passed away, I was in the room with her. I was holding her hand. I was on her right side holding her hand, and her family was on the left. And we were kind of coaxing her through the pain. It was her wishes to not get any pain medication, and so we were there to kind of support her. And I remember she was starting to get this very labored breathing. She had a pretty severe respiratory diagnosis, and so she was starting to pass pretty quickly. But she was starting to have labored breathing and gurgles in her throat. So between every breath, she would have some trouble saying words. But I was able to pick up what she was saying. So I remember she had her eyes closed and she said, "Oh, there goes my legs, guys. When you start to pass away one day, you're going to go through this too. You're going to lose senses in your legs." And then all of a sudden, her eyes go. She says, "Oh my gosh, I can't see anything." Her eyes were open and it was just glazed over. "I just can't see anything. All right, it's total darkness, guys." And then she starts to say that she sees things. She says she sees lights, pretty colors, so many pretty colors. And then she says she sees people. She says there's a light approaching and she sees people. And okay, they're coming, guys. They're coming to get me. At this point, her grip starts to loosen. She starts to look more ashen. She starts to just fade. And she ends with, "All right, guys, they're coming to get me. Okay, bye, guys. See you later." And then she goes unconscious. So, out of respect for the family, I get out of the room. They cry. I give them privacy. And then maybe 20 to 30 minutes later, Marie passes away. After going through this experience with Marie, it really changed the way I thought about spirituality and the afterlife. And it is one of the main reasons why I started this account in the first place. And I know Marie. I know that she wanted the world to know this. And that's the reason why